everybody, it's Soph. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a lovely November, whatever you may be doing. In today's video I will be doing a review, first impressions and a tutorial on this. This is the Soph X Revolution Ultra Eyeshadow palette. This is her second release from the Extra Spice palette that I got for my birthday 2 years ago. So if you would like to see my thoughts, a tutorial and first impressions on what I think of this palette, stay tuned. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the design. I would definitely say, in comparison with the Extra Spice palette, it has a mirror lid with the matte writing on here, whereas on the second release, this is her second release, and she also has a third one that's due out in 2 weeks' time. It is a matte lid with the holographic Soph X Revolution logo on there. If I ever had a chance to collaborate with any makeup company, I would definitely say Revolution would probably notice my vlog design. I'll tell you something, this video is not sponsored, all opinions on my own, but I do hope to be sponsored by Revolution or any makeup brand in the near future. It's well made and it seems sturdy. Inside there is a huge mirror, which is also useful and great to travel with. We have 24 eyeshadows here, so 26.4 grams of product in total, and the price is £10 in Superdrug. You can also get this from Revolution Beauty for £12.99. In terms of shade distribution here, I would definitely say that the Extra Spice palette has more matte shades and more warm tone shades, whereas the second release, I have a feeling she has listened to her viewers and her followers to say maybe put some more cool toned eyeshadows in here. From what I can see in the palette, there is definitely some cool toned eyeshadows here, so this will definitely have my name written all over it. It is a more versatile palette to the Extra Spice palette, and it definitely has some daytime shades here, particularly the matte shades on here and then along this top row here. And there's also some shades that you can also do for a more smoky eye for a night out makeup look, where I've done a couple of videos before on night out, a day to night makeup look, and this palette would be perfect if you were going on a night out but you were going straight from work. What I would definitely say is I would like to have seen a cream shade all over the lid in the Extra Spice palette, but I am really happy that they managed to listen to feedback and put these two shades in here. In the palette there are 24 shades as opposed to the Extra Spice palette, which had 18. And a lot of these ones that I would definitely go for a daytime look, but if I was doing a night out straight from work, I could really use some of these shades here that could really take it into a nighttime look. So a lot of this second row here, a lot of the top two rows, and some of these shades right here have my name written all over it. Definitely, you can create anything from a very nude, natural look to something more colourful and bold. I'm not really sure about this bottom row here with this matte red. Maybe this matte orange, I'm not sure about this matte red, and I'll probably steer well clear of the black, but I would definitely say that the top, all of the top row, all of the second row, and then maybe one or two shades here, depending on what my mood is on the day, depending on what mood I am in or what look I am planning on creating, I will definitely maybe add a pop of colour, but I would only use it very sparingly because I'm not sure how pigmented this palette will be compared to the Extra Spice palette, where some of the shades in the Extra Spice palette weren't as pigmented as I thought they would be. But I don't really want to say that these are not pigmented, and it turns out it is the opposite, and they are really got an intense colour payoff in the pan. Okay, the last thing we are going to do is just do a couple of swatches before we get onto the actual tutorial itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, I might swatch a matte and I might swatch a shimmer. So I'm going to go for this one right here, which I think it's called, is it iced coffee or is it cup of tea? I know I've got the shade names here, but it was just when I'm viewing this, when I'm actually doing this in my viewfinder, I'm actually reading these upside down, which isn't also not very helpful either. So I might go for, oh, this middle shade here, smoky bronze. This shade here, smoky bronze, seems interesting. I might give that one a try. Also, I might swatch the shimmery green shade here called Pine Tree. I know this particular colour of green will definitely complement my eye colour. A lot of these, most shadow shades, I'm not sure about this shade here called Petrol. It seems like looks more like a metallic blue, and well, all shades of blue aren't really a colour that I would definitely put with my eye colour, but all the rest of the ones I would definitely say will complement my eyes really, really strongly. So the shimmer shades are quite a nice shimmery pigment, so it is a it is almost like, it's not a pigment. I would definitely say it goes onto your, on my hand it's definitely more creamy, and it would definitely look more buttery on the eyelid, but we don't know how, whether it'll be the same or whether the payoff will be more intense once we get this on the eyes. Okay, let's see if we can create a look with this. I don't know whether I go for, shall I play safe and go for something, actually no, I might do it more of a smoky eye, take me a little bit out of my comfort zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom you guys in. I'm going to zoom you in a bit. Okay, maybe if I sit a bit closer and I'll sit lower, is that better? From what I can see on my hand, it is a really nice colour payoff on here, which I've expected for Revolution, because Revolution is a brand that I have been using for the best part of nearly 3 years, and it was definitely my favourite makeup brand of 2020 and 2021, and I am hoping that Revolution palettes will definitely crop up in my favourites of the year for 2022, and I also look forward to continuing using this brand in 2023. Right, let's play with this eyeshadow palette. Okay, I'm waffling on a bit here, so don't know whether I go for a transition shade here. I've already done my foundation and I've done my eyes off camera, so we are going to go in with this shade here, which is called Pancakes. Looks like there is a lot on here. I'm going to tap off the excess, blow it away so it doesn't get on my carpet, and we are just going to be using this as our transition shade before we put on the colour, the crease shade that I tend to put on, because I like to build shadows and I don't really like to just put the main colour on and look absolutely harsh and then I spend about half an hour trying to blend it out until it looks somewhat decent. And before any of you guys say, are you qualified in makeup? No, I have a keen interest in makeup, and I've been watching a lot of teach yourself tutorials on YouTube, and this was how I managed to get a lot of my vlogs out to you guys. I'm now going to take another Morphe brush. This is an M504. I was nearly going to say an M506. I'm going to take a mix of these two shades here called Iced Coffee, and I believe this is called Pug. And I'm just going to be doing a light wash of this, basically on top of what we've just put on, but we are just working this on the outer part of the eye. And if we want to go back in with a bit more of that pancake shade, we can. I am going to go back in with that brush, and I'm just going to blend this so that it looks more softer looking, because we are using some of the warmer shades today. Now I really want to play with this this matte pumpkin copper colour here, so I'm just going to take a smaller blending brush. Oh, there's a lot of kickback in the pan there. And I'm just going to be working this, basically what we've just done, but I want to focus this on the outer corner of the eye. Don't worry about this being messy, because this will look a lot better when we come to carve out the eyelid. And I'm just going to I'd say that's immediately better. I don't think I really needed to put those two brown shades that I put on before I put this shade on. So maybe if we need to go back in with a little bit more of that pumpkin colour, we can. And I'm just like slowly working this on the outer corner of the eye, and then just using a very light hand, fading this all the way. It starts from the outer corner and I aim to go in, and this will fade all the way out into the crease. Back in with that pancake shade. I'm going to just add a little bit more of that pancake shade, and then I'm just going to meet that in the middle with that copper pumpkin shade, just for this to appear more softer, because you don't want like a sudden wash of colour all the way into your eye. You want to keep the inner corner of the eye soft, and then you want to give it a lovely gradient as well, like I mentioned in my Joker Halloween video. Alright, I'm now going to do a eyelid shade. I don't know whether to go for... I don't know whether I go for this shade here. I'm not going to do smoky bronze because that I feel like that's a bit too warm tone for the crease colour that we've got on. So I'm definitely wanting to go for this gold shade here. Or I don't know whether to go for this shade here called Fairy Lights. Maybe go for Fairy Lights, and then I'm really tempted to do a rose gold makeup look. So I mean, off camera I've just carved out my eyelid. We are only going for a half cut crease today because we do want to make the eyelid the main focus, but I'm not going to do anything too intense on the eyelid because we want to keep it fairly minimal, but also a good look if you are maybe wearing this to a night out straight from work. So I might go in with that using my finger. I'm just going to go in with that coppery gold. Oh yes, I would definitely say that the shimmery shades seem a lot wetter and it's a lot more buttery as well, whereas on the Extra Spice palette it was definitely a lot more buttery, but I feel like these ones are a lot more wetter. So maybe she has listened to her viewers and then said maybe have more of a wetter, intense, shimmery eyeshadow. Oh yes, I really like that colour actually. I might do another layer of that before we put the pink champagne shade on. Look at that. Oh, I would definitely say the pigmentation is definitely good. I feel like the lighter colours are sheerer as well as some of the mattes, especially the first two shades that we put on. That pancake shade is definitely a lot more sheerer. I'm talking about the word, not the football player for my local football team. And I would definitely say that these are definitely harder to apply with a brush, whereas the Extra Spice palette, I was able to apply these with a brush, but I would say with this palette I would definitely use my finger because you have a lot more control and it's a lot easier to apply. And I'm now going to go in with this pink champagne colour, which is actually called Fairy Lights. That colour is actually called Pink Champagne. I don't know why that one's called Fairy Lights, to be fair, because if I was naming any of the shades I would definitely call that Pink Champagne because it definitely looks more like a rosé colour. Oh yes. Laura, I feel like you have just found your go-to eyeshadow for the season ahead. That colour just looks absolutely stunning. Even though I'm only putting a tiny little bit on, it looks like you've definitely applied loads when really you haven't. I'm just tapping this on my eyelid because, as you can probably tell, and definitely on the back of my hand as well, it is definitely buttery, and I would definitely say this is more of a pigment than it is a shimmery shade. So what we're going to do is the eyeshadow. I've done the eyeshadow and I'm just going to take a small brush with the same shimmery shades from before. Those two here. I believe that one's called, I don't know if that's called Sparks Fly. I'm going to be just running this underneath my lower lash line and I'm going to be doing a pop of the pink champagne to meet in the middle. And this will make me feel a lot more awake. Because that's what I've always learned with makeup. If you really put it underneath your lower lash line, take it really low, you feel a lot more awake and ready for the day ahead. I am looking forward to getting my hands on the Super Spice palette that'll be out for Christmas. From what I can gather, it is definitely colours that I have been playing around with a lot through last season, and I'm looking forward to getting a lot more use out of it in the new year and also for the seasons ahead too. So I am crossing my fingers before the Christmas to see what you can bring me. Okay, that is the eyeshadow done. The next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm just going to do a subtle eyeliner. And the last thing that I am doing is lips. I've just done my mascara off camera with the Clinique High Impact Mascara Mini. So keeping this very neutral, I'm just going to be going in with this. This is the Kiko Glossy Dream Sheer Lipstick in the shade 204. And this is a glossy finish, so this will be perfect if you were going for a strong shade on your eyes. And then on top of it, to bring the colour down a little bit more, I'm taking one of the 3D Hydra Lip Glosses. This is in the shade 31, so I'm just going to quickly fill in my top lip. The only thing I don't like about this lipstick is the packaging. It doesn't make it very secure, so when it looks like the lid is actually on, unless this isn't pushed in, it doesn't really look very secure, and then it looks like the lid is going to fall off and then it'll just make a mess in your handbag. And there you have it, guys. That is my makeup all done. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to do is my verdict on this, and I would definitely say that this is a really good palette for beginners because it has endless colour combinations and possibilities, and this will be good for anyone who doesn't have a lot of makeup or doesn't want to own a lot and then just wants to see what they can do with one palette. I absolutely love the shades that I have done in the tutorial that you just saw. This one is a really nice matte shade, as is this one here, which I will be doing a few more tutorials with this. The shimmers are like literally right up my alley because it's fairly neutral. There was a lot of gold and copper bronze colours which definitely complement my eye colour, and I absolutely love some of the surprise pigments that she's thrown in here and there. And some of the mattes, it can be patchy, but if you continue blending until it's like, for example, the pancake shade was a little bit patchy, but when, as you saw in my tutorial, I just continued blending until it didn't look like it had been put on with a trowel. And then if you give it time and then if you just keep blending away, it should achieve the look that you were planning to get. The shade names definitely go with the colour scheme in the palette, and I am really happy that this has also got a travel size mirror in the lid, so that if you are doing your makeup on the go, or if I was to take this away on holiday, I can just do this in the bedroom, and I know as I was doing this in my viewfinder it was a little bit difficult, but I managed to get there in the end. But what I would say is, if I was to take this away on holiday with me, I would definitely just do the makeup and then I'll just do it in the mirror that's in the lid, because it is also in natural light and is also a fantastic price. But it is a shame about some of these colours here. I mean, I know I haven't really touched them, but I would definitely give them a chance, but it is something that I'll only use sparingly, because this colour blue, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it probably wouldn't go with my eye colour, or if you like, it might complement blue eyes or hazel eyes, but it probably mightn't go with green or brown. What I would definitely say is it can be a bit, some of the shades can be a bit hit and miss, but we will find out when I do another tutorial on this palette, so keep your eyes peeled and you may see me do a tutorial with this again. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed my review, first impressions and verdict on this palette, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial that I managed to put together using some of the shades. This was an unplanned one, and I was working with no colour plan in mind, so I just thought, because this was my first time, and if some of the shades took a bit of my fancy, I thought maybe I could give a go this one. So there was definitely a lot of browns here. I am looking forward to using a lot more of these matte brown shades here and a lot more of the copper shades as well. The green shade Pine Tree is definitely calling my name, so you could be definitely seeing a green eye tutorial. It's very rare that I do a green eye tutorial, but keep your eyes peeled because you never know I could do that. Be sure to hit the bell down below, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Thanks for watching.